Hey guys, great to see you today and welcome to our Kogen Sunday service. My name is Christian and I'm so excited to be connected with you here. We want to thank Kogen Self-Defense Academy for all that they do to get this message out. So Bowie, Matt, Rob, thank you guys so much for all that you do. We truly appreciate you. It's spiritual defense, and spiritual defense has three different parts. The first is to defend ourselves against apathy, against fear, against all those things that would hold us down. It's to disarm the powers and forces of darkness and the lies that they tell. And finally, it's to defeat those powers and walk in freedom and victory. Today is July 4th, 2021, literally a celebration of freedom. I want to pause today and simply thank all of you who are first responders, all of you who in so many different ways contribute to the freedom that we have now, here, and today, and thank you for that. Whether you currently are serving, you're ex-military, whatever it might be, for all of you, thank you. You know, I think about freedom in terms of all of the things that we can do. We have the freedom to decide whether to come and train or not. We have the freedom to be able to declare what we believe across our airways and across our internet. We have the freedom to go where we want, to do what we want. And these freedoms are often taken for granted. I encourage you today, don't let your freedom be taken for granted. In spiritual defense, freedom is one of those things in the principle and tenet of defeat, right? To defeat those powers, those lies, and walk in freedom and victory. And the question is, how do we do that? Well, first of all, we have the freedom to pursue God. Our executive pastor at one time was in China. And as he talked about his experience there for 5 weeks, he talked about how everything is controlled. From the conversations you have to the recording of classroom settings, they do not live in a free country. We instead spiritually have the freedom to pursue God, the freedom to choose how we worship God, and the freedom to hold in our hands what I believe to be one of the most precious gifts that we have, the Bible. We have the freedom to be able to move and interact with one another, to share ideas, to shape others around us, and to shape ourselves. That is freedom. And finally, last but not least, we live in a country where we have the freedom to help one another in our faith. There are places where religion is prohibited. There are places where faith is viewed as against the government. Today in our spiritual defense, we recognize that God has blessed each one of us in a land where we are able to freely worship. And even more than that, our First Amendment protects that very freedom. So today, as you celebrate this week, as you look back upon July 4th, it is my prayer that you recognize the freedom that God has given you. And the scriptures remind us that anyone who has the Son, that is Jesus, is free indeed. So I encourage you, make sure that you know what true freedom can be. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us here today, for staying connected to spiritual defense. If you've got questions, I'd love to talk to you. My Facebook, my email are down below. Thank you guys again so much. I look forward to seeing you this week at Kogen. Have a great July 4th.